back on the stream. There we go. This cable is way longer than what we need to work with. And why didn't you test this before you got on? Because the nature of last minute travel in a Tesla, you end up supercharging for longer than you expected. It's not really the car's fault, it was the screaming child. Right, let's see here. Let's go on the microphone. There. Move this to power. Here. There we go. Oh, I heard that. Pop this in here. It's the other device, not headphones. Okay, and then can we select this as an audio device? All right, and if we do that, can anybody hear us? All right, switch this back to live. And it'll be a pretty bad echo if that's the case. But, hey, it worked. Okay, good. Now, to mute it so we don't have an echo. Okay, perfect. So next up, we're gonna do a screen share. How do I do that on here? Sorry, guys. I can react, mute, stop video. I can't do. Oh, there it is. Let's share stream, I guess. Oh. I gotta stop that there. There we go. Where's my screen share button? You can't screen share from an iPad, apparently. Let me see if I can't join in from my phone and screen share from that. do this. And yeah, my tablet just kicked out altogether. So as I was saying, the fine folks at Giga Berlin used less water than they said. Going back now. Allow. Sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Again with that. Mute something. Mute you. I gotta unmute one of them, right? So unmute one of them, right? So unmute one of them, right? So chits. All right, there we go. So the phone wouldn't mute itself for whatever reason. So the fine folks at Berlin said that they wouldn't have a water problem, and lo and behold, they did not have a water problem. All right, so the next story we got is 20 electric cars that are selling below sticker price, according to Autoblog. Okay, and no, I don't need to open an app. Stay in the browser. So we've got a couple different electric cars that might be worth looking into if you wanted them below sticker price, starting with the Audi e-tron GT. Now, anything from the VW group right now, I wouldn't recommend, simply because the oh, Andrew says that we're just spinning. Let's go back to YouTube. It seems to be back now. How about now, Anders? I guess I gotta type that to you. How about now? Okay. It's a brilliant welcome back to our fine friends at Twitch, isn't it? Okay, good. Anders sees us now. So I have to put a disclaimer on here right now. Anything coming from our fine friends at the Volkswagen Group, I can't exactly recommend their cars until they jump on the next train, and they haven't done that yet. So there's the Audi e-tron GT selling for about 7,000 below sticker. The BMW i4 is going for about 2,000 below sticker. The Ford Lightning, if you can get a dealer that isn't trying to gouge you, is going for 1,300 below sticker. The Mustang Mach-E is $900 below sticker, $986. The Genesis GV60 at $1,850. So these ones are all okay. The Ford, the BMW. The one thing I want to caution you with the BMW is they didn't tell us the adapter story. So with them, there's a chance you might not be able to use your existing vehicle on the supercharger network before the 2025 model year when they come with the ports native. But the Fords will be fine. The Genesis you'll be fine because Hyundai Group told us that they'd be able to charge at full speed on the supercharger network with an adapter. Followed up by the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, Hyundai Kona Electric at 872 below, and the Kia Niro EV, the Lexus RZ 450 Echo. We still don't know the full story with Toyota, but since they only have the handful of cars out there, when they say adapters to select cars, they only have one per brand. They have the Subaru Solterra, the BZ4X, and this Lexus RZ 450E. You would have to hope that they would be the ones. Mercedes EQB, they'd be fine. The Nissan Ariya, which is the only one out of the Nissan fleet that's getting the adapters. The Nissan Leaf is going for $800 below sticker. The thing to remember with the Leaf is it will not charge on the supercharger network anytime soon, if ever. And it uses CHAdeMO for its DC fast charging. It's best to consider the Leaf a local car. That's the safest way to look at it. I'm going to turn the fan up on this air. I'm in direct sunlight. Oh my goodness. Let's go to 5, I guess. And then the BZ4X is going for $1,100 below, almost $1,200 below sticker price. There's more, but those are the headlines. So let's move on to something else. Close that. And all right, so we talked about 20 cars below sticker. A new study finds that the average new ICE car pollutes more than one. That's an odd title. All right, let's open it and see what they're trying to say. This one is from Autoblog as well. Study finds the average new ICE car pollutes more than one from 2013. Okay. It was just awkwardly structured. So a brand new ICE car pollutes more than a 2013 ICE car, assuming when new, I think. The reason is that from the last 10 years, what we had happen is the popularity of SUVs and pickup trucks as commuter cars and only vehicles. And so this is coming from they're reporting on a paper by a group called Possible, and The Guardian reported on it, and then they're reporting on that report. So the average internal combustion car in 2023 is a worse polluter than the average new car sold 10 years ago. And that's because consumers have been increasingly buying SUVs instead of cars. Those vehicles are heavier and burn more fuel, and as a result, they are less efficient and emit more CO2 than other cars. And you can look at that even at this EV right here. My Model X here is heavier and less fuel efficient than my Model S was, and I did that in the last 10 years. Well, it makes sense. The Model S was a 2016, and the Model X is 2018. However, a 2023 Model X is a lot more efficient than a 2018 P100D, just because of the way it works. Tesla made them more efficient. I'm curious on the comments on these real quick. There's 26 of them. Johnny O says the average vehicle purchased today is bigger, heavier, more powerful. Did anyone really need a scientific study to validate that? In other news of the oblivious, water is wet, ice is cold, and dogs can't talk. Automakers did not abandon sedans because of legal loopholes or any dark conspiracy. They did it for one simple reason, because the buying public wanted something else. It's the same story as other obsolete body styles, such as two-door sedans. Except that their marketing is super strong, and they made us want these cars, because if you don't, you're impotent. If you don't, you're not making sure your family is safe. If you don't have a monster truck, blah, 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 blah. And then these larger vehicles allow them to kind of skate by the fuel economy standards for a little while longer. But as we saw with these strikes that they're doing right now, they were complaining that, oh, you're making it too hard. We can't compete, blah, blah, blah. Except that they knew what the fuel economy standards were 30 years ago when they agreed to them. They just kept kicking the can down the road and thought that somebody would cave, and that's not what happened. Bennett says, I recommend a Bolt EUV to someone on Blue Sky this week, since she's coming from a 2007 Fit. I said, yeah, you're essentially buying the EV Fit. And that's exactly how I would describe it. It's a little bit bigger in some dimensions, other than being an SUV Fit. But inside, if you like the Fit, it's very comparable. As far as assuming that you had one that didn't have the manual locks and everything, it's a similar level of equipment and size, and it's maneuverable, and The range is about the same. That's a good recommendation. I like that, Bennett. Yeah. All right. So then Noah says changing taste is only part of the equation for the disappearance of two-door cars. The other part of the equation is that two-door cars were typically purchased by young people prior to having a family. But since wages have been stagnant since the 80s ish, people can't afford two-door cars or any cars for that matter, explaining the disappearance of subcompacts and compact cars. Yep. But then again, as Bennett pointed out, the Bolt is the EV fit. Like until it goes out of business or not out of business, out of production for who knows how long, for the factory to sit idle for a year or two. Um, the EV um, Bolt EV is very affordable at 26,000 new after incentives. And then depending on your state and city, you might even be able to get it cheaper than that. And if you buy a used one, Bennett says, don't the large pickups also skate by rollover safety standards since they're commercial size? Exactly. They've been doing everything they can. They don't just make them taller, they make them wider, they make them longer, they make them heavier. Everything they can do to not have to do what they should be doing. It's the same reason why Subaru actually was one of the earliest ones in this trend. They like to be seen as environmental and all this and that, but they started this. They took all of their hatchbacks and sedans and just lifted them up a couple inches so that they would qualify as trucks. And then uh, that was just a freebie. That like you saw it, literally one model year, they all just got taller. All right, so let's one more. I went from two more, I guess. Went mid-sized diesel 4x4 truck getting 23 per gallon to a Honda Accord getting 38 per gallon per mile. It's half the cost for fuel. Kind of a no-brainer. And that's kind of what we did with the EVs and the Check, check, 1, 2. How about now? Check, check, 1, 2. Okay, I hear me. And how about now? Okay. So, back to the. All right, so it sounds like the farmers that were deluded, misled in Georgia into thinking that the Rivian plant was bad for them, and then they were complaining about a lack of jobs. It looks like they were unable to stop the Rivian plant in Georgia, which is nice, and they'll get some jobs. Thank you, Bennett. Thank you. Um, uh, more hands. I need octopus hands. Bennett says we're back, and all right, let's move on from the Rivian. The farm. They're gonna poison your crops. They're gonna same crap they told us at Berlin about the water and the cardboard forest and the migratory patterns of the spotted beetle, whatever. Uh, it's just fear and uncertainty and doubt trying to stop progress. Um, right, Cybertruck, Rivian factory. Colorado approves a goal to make 82% of car sales electric by 2032. So this is a little different than what we saw with all the other California emission states like Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, New York, etc. They all just kind of copied California with the 2035 rule. I'm not entirely sure about Virginia, but Colorado they just went a little less strict on it to 82%. That was a tweet. Check your charger connection. Yeah, I know you've got a loose cable. Um, there we go. Then we've got Joe Tedmeyer says on Cybertrucks on X. He says Cybertrucks being tested for off-road capability. This one I really wanted to share with you guys on screen. Again, I wasn't expecting to be mobile, so we're gonna do the point the camera at the screen thing, and so this is at the stair step in California. I forgot the full name of it. You can't even really hear the audio either. And then all the banging and clanging you hear is not the Cybertruck. It's somebody unloading a an old stretched Jeep. But the tire sounds were definitely the Cybertruck. And then our friend Ryan over at Kilowatts, he showed him doing the same thing with the Rivian. I don't know if that's in the same series of tweets or not. Um, so then she's showing her Jeepy thing, and also the Cybertruck is two of them there. And then another video. The Jeepy thing is going down, and the Cybertruck's going for another run. Yeah. Somehow I didn't give that. It must have undone my heart on it. So Joe was sharing that from Dima Zinuk, and they said thanks for the great shots. And then there's a crypto scam ad, and yeah, let me see if they had any more photos from that day. Oh, they did have some photos. This is a photo, not a video. And then, like I said, Ryan put on one of these branches of this thread. He put Oh, here it is. He put the Rivian impressing folks. So going up the same stair step, similar tire noises. He did a lot faster. I don't know if that was more confidence or no data collection or why that would be. And Azai says, I thought the Cybertruck was making that banging sound. Yeah, I did too at first until she panned over to that monster truck over there. Um, Let me see if Ryan has the rest of those Rivian videos in this thread here. All right, I don't have them. Sorry. But on one of them, the Rivian rolled back. And another one, he drove down an impressive slope and impressed the off roaders there, and then he reversed up it. Only buffering on YouTube. That's interesting. Because even though I'm mobile, I'm streaming them all to one server to undo the to spread them out. So it might be a YouTube issue at this point. Which also makes me wonder because during the shareholder call there was issues where we were missing some audio, and I thought that maybe Elon was trying to make us prefer X. But if I'm doing it, then I'm not doing that on purpose. Let's see. Juiced Bikes guarantees fire safety with a UL certification for all e-bikes. That was something that I thought was pretty cool because we discussed on one of the last What Drives Us shows with Georgia about making sure that you had e-bike safety as far as charging them with the UL listed chargers, not using extension cords, etc. So this is a good way to build confidence in your product, is to make sure that you're actually listed by a certifying agency. That's right, Anders. Um, California DMV suspends Cruise's self-driving car permits. That one was a mess, um, and I've broken it up. Tesla's charging on X. First V4 superchargers open in Sparks, Nevada. Stellantis and R&O form a joint venture for battery recycling. That's all there is to say about that. We'll see when they actually make batteries. And Tesla Model Y breaks single-year sales record in Denmark, which is pretty cool. We'll come back to that if I can remember. You guys remind me. All right, so back to Cruise. So after Okay, this is my note. After striking a previously struck pedestrian and continuing to execute a pullover maneuver with the pedestrian still under the vehicle, yes, the car dragged a human. But while that was bad, that alone is bad enough. You don't want to strike a pedestrian, then you don't want to drag a pedestrian. Um, the DMV accuses Cruise of editing the video that was submitted to not show the whole incident, omitting that the car moved rather than just striking and stopping. So the DMV was already not thrilled with the idea of a pedestrian being struck. They thought that the pedestrian was struck and ended up under the vehicle, and that it stopped and waited for assistance or whatever. That is not what happened. It stopped on top of the pedestrian, and then it tried to pull over, and the pedestrian was still under the vehicle when it stopped again. And I don't blame the DMV for taking that action. Some of the folks at first were like, "Oh, this is harsh. One little incident." It wasn't little at all. It was egregious. And then shortly later, Cruise put up a series of tweets saying that they were suspending all their operations. I don't know if I have that in the notes here. Let me see. Uh, and so Sawyer had said that, and I put unverified because he didn't link to anywhere. And then I crossed out the word un, so just left it as verified because uh, Dana found Dana Hull found an X post from the DMV. Let me click on it and see. No, no. So she titled it 2 days after the California DMV suspended license, and then we have a series of tweets from Cruz saying the most important thing for us right now is to take the steps to rebuild public trust. Part of this involves taking a hard look inwards at how we do work at Cruise, even if it means doing things that are uncomfortable or difficult. In that spirit, we have decided to proactively pause driverless operations across all of our fleets while we take the time to examine our processes, systems, and tools and reflect on how we can better operate in a way that will earn public trust. This isn't related to any new on road incident. Really? It's not? and supervised AV operations will continue. We think it's the right thing to do during a period when we need to be extra vigilant when it comes to risk, relentlessly focused on safety and taking the steps to rebuild public trust. So the thing to remember here, though, is like as washed as they made this statement. They made a similar statement when the DMV made their ruling, where they lied to the public in a very similar way to what they did just directly to the DMV, where they were just hiding stuff. And so it's going to take them a while to regain the public trust. First reply to them that wasn't an advertisement or a political picture of Joe Biden doing stuff was this guy named AC. Says, don't lie, stop lying now. Your system is unable to solve the issue. I don't know about that, but yeah, do stop lying about what happened. Tech AU asked them about technology change. Andrew Jezebing asks them, what are the miles per accident? I bet it's a lot better than human drivers. This is probably true still, even though the cruise has been making public mistakes left and right. Matthew says the main issue, even though it's on paper, it looks better. However, there's tons and tons of videos of vehicles doing stupid or dangerous stuff that just happen to not cause an accident. The fact that the car looks like a self-driving car, the fact that it's geofenced, just is just a fairly tiny area, so folks in those areas know about them, and the fact that they stay on on the back, that it may stop quickly. Oh, okay, on the back of the car. So if somebody runs into them, it's like the mailman. It says vehicle makes frequent stops. Uh, are very much helping it out in terms of the miles per accident. Barry says it's almost as though the car is the problem. I wouldn't say the car, unless you mean the whole bolt with the self-driving system. But the bolt itself, I don't think is the issue. And then this parody account says, well, I think the person they dragged was maybe under a mile, if that answers your questions about how many miles the accidents are. Um, it was definitely under a mile. It was literally from the middle of the road where they got hit to the side of the road where the car should have gone had it not had somebody underneath it. Um, that's exactly the point. How would you know when your integrity is gone? When you hide evidence, how could we possibly trust you? That's coming from High Five Save Lives. And then Ghost said something racist about a particular race of drivers. Um, yeah, so right now Cruz is not in a good place, and we're just gonna watch it and see what happens with that. Hopefully, they don't pull an Uber and just quit, because that's not what we need. But like Uber, they need some serious like apologies and face saving and like and not like what they've done, but just like with these mealy mouth statements and like hiding stuff, but like real. They got to show us, and then like they said, they got to earn our trust back, and they're gonna have to try extra hard because it wasn't just making bad mistakes and bad decisions. It was then later lying about it and hiding it. That's hard to come back from. Ask our friends at Nicola. This microphone is heavy. Okay, it says okay. That looks better. Let's see what happens on the YouTube side. Okay, good. I hear us. And yeah, so Cruise has got a long way to go, and like I said, hopefully they don't quit like Uber did. Then I said we would have to go back to something. What are we going back to? The Model Y sales record in Denmark. Let's take a look at that real quick. So Model Y breaks the single year sales record in Denmark. So this is going to be similar to what we saw where the Model Y broke the record for the VW Beetle in Norway. I'm going to move this over so I have a place to put the microphone. There we go. Oh boy. Perhaps I should have done this from the passenger seat. So the Model Y has broken a 10-year-old sales record in Denmark, where more units of the electric SUV have been sold in a single year than any other car in the country's history. The record comes at 1 week left in October, giving the Model Y more than 2 months to extend the record further. Let's see, the Model Y was only launched in Denmark in the second half of 2021, but has quickly become a favorite. All right, let's see how many. Trend continued in Q3. Model Y had the best sales month. October coming to a close. So in Denmark, the Model Y sold a total of 12,944 vehicles have been registered by owners this year. And that surpasses the 12,940 units of the VW Up that were registered 10 years ago in 2013. So that's just through, what did we say? So far this year, according to sometime nearing the end of October, right? So with 2 more months to go, assuming that they keep getting the Model Ys delivered to Denmark, they're gonna blow that record out of the water. Okay, so that was fun. We talked about Cruise. I'd rather not talk about Cruise anymore until something new happens. Sawyer Merritt says LK Machinery has unveiled their massive 16,000 ton gigapress. For reference, the Cybertruck gigapress is 9,000 tons. It promises to revolutionize industries, improve productivity, and set new benchmarks for performance. And I believe he had a picture on his expo, so let's take a look. Oh, he had a video. Oh, don't turn off, car. Alright, but I do need to mute you because it's got music going on. And so that's really cool. So if you got something that is almost double the Cybertruck's gigapress, what could we possibly come up with next? Bennett says Cruise came up at work and folks had stories. One person was in one when it almost got hit by a fire truck. Yes! Oh my goodness. That was a mess as well. Like the Cruise vehicles never seemed to be able to deal with things that changed in their environment, which is not a good thing when you're looking for a vehicle that is completely autonomous, especially one where you can remove the controls. Like they showed us a Bolt with no steering wheel, no pedals, and you don't want a vehicle that can't deal with changes to just be let loose. Which is part of the reason why Tesla says, hey, there's always a driver in the car, so our system isn't self-driving. It's just called that for now. I think that's a safer approach, really. All right, so this one was fun, and I think we touched on it on the Tesla Live show, but I don't recall. Tesla sold 100 million superchargers, $100 million in superchargers to BP. So as you can see in the photo, these are V4 superchargers, or at least the V4 supercharger dispensers. And BP had an X post announcing it. Big news, we're boosting our EV charger network. But one thing that somebody brought up that I had not considered is that with this partnership now set up, one of the brands that BP owns is it Pilot? No, it's not. It's T8, Travel Centers of America, and that's the truck stop, which means it's going to be a lot easier to get mega chargers in their fuel depots, and the mega chargers are going to be necessary for the Tesla Semi to proliferate. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right. Oh, okay. Cars Insight. Carson. Sorry, I butchered your name. Carson on X is saying that I wonder how many people have picked up on the BP network includes travel centers of America. There are truck stops located coast to coast. How long until mega packs and mega chargers are installed? Elon is indeed playing 3D chess, while everyone else is playing checkers. The Daimler EM2 electric box truck, the Class 6, that I've been saying is really cool stuff, but yet has some stats I'm not impressed with, uh, like the battery pack size and the range and the recharging speeds, stuff like that. It's actually on sale now. I didn't realize it hadn't been on sale before because they've been parading it around for a couple of years now, but now it's actually on sale. Sawyer has an X post that's breaking. Tesla has launched a new stealth gray color on the Model S and Model X in the US. It's a zero added cost color. The old midnight silver metallic color has been discontinued on the S and the X. This is the same stealth gray as the new Model 3 from Giga Shanghai. And then he's got a link to, I'm guessing, Tesla's post on it? No. So he shows us some pictures. Some folks have described what they think it looks like from the video that Tesla released as like midnight silver metallic with a another coat, similar to how they described the new red color as the old red color with one more coat of paint. Let's see. Inside EVs, the 2024 Ioniq 6 base price has been slashed by $4,100 and now starts at $38,615. And you guys know I don't really do too much on all these different price changes, but some of them are impressive. Like being under 38, under $40,000 for the new Ioniq 38,615 is a good new number for you if you've got folks that say, you know, EVs are expensive. I can't afford $100,000 for an EV, and they haven't been $100,000 in a decade. But I mean, they get up that high, but they don't start that way anymore. So I like to share that with the community so you guys can let them know that the Ioniq 6 base price has dropped reasonably. Let's see. Bennett says, I think they'll have trailer friendly BP superchargers at TA. That would be cool. I think that would be a good move on their part. I don't know if they will or not because the picture they showed looked like the regular Tesla V2, V3 setup where you back in and they're all in a row, except that they had their logo instead of Tesla's. But being their business, you would think that they would consider uh, people towing. So I hope you're right, and that they will have at least one or two pull through or pull us alongside spots. Either where the cable is long enough to reach across the vehicle, or where if it is one or two, it doesn't matter what side you come in from, that you can pull up alongside the curb like a parallel parking, but not exactly. Bennett said, even the Plaid is not 100,000 now. Things have changed. Exactly. Even the Plaid is like down there. The Model X Plaid, like we said, it went up $5,000, but it's still not $100,000. It's, what did we say, 95, something like that. It was 102 when we reconfigured this car as a Plaid, and this one, when it was new, before any discounts and tax credits, and I don't know what we had going on to get this unicorn, but it should have been like 165 or something like that. So to get the new version and to get it at 60,000 less, that's two Model 3s. It's like, come on, that's exactly. And like I said, I don't know what this thing really costs. I'd have to look it up. And then we did get all sorts of tax credits and stuff, so that helped. Um, and then we didn't get the 22-inch wheels because we wanted to tow, which that saved some too. The Palladium that we drove, the long range, it had the 22-inch wheels, and it felt softer and quieter than this one with the 20s. So that was impressive to me. All right, so let's see. I think that to get to 100,000, we have to go to like the Bentley, the Celestiq, uh, the certain trims of Taycan, because not even the Taycan is 100 grand anymore. You have to like do the Porsche thing and like menu, totally get the Porsche up to 100 grand. I'm curious which ones are like base price over 100 grand now. You got the Celestiq, not the Lyric, the Maybach. Yeah, exactly. Bennett said the X long range for 80 for the credit is something. Under 80K for the credit is something. Exactly. So if you get a Model X long standard, not really standard, like just get the Model X without any qualifiers on it. Get the 5 seat, any color you want. Uh, get your supercharging after the fact. I'm sorry, not your supercharging. I'm sorry. Get your self driving after the fact. Get stuff like that after the fact. And as long as you pick the 5 seat model, you get the $7,500 tax credit if you qualify. And next year, assuming they don't change anything with the battery, next year you can get that at your point of sale with Tesla. So that's basically almost $8,000 off the price of the car, or more, depending um, on your state and local. I'm noticing now that these windows behind me are very brown. Uh, they were always tinted, but they used to match this, and now they're very brown. This thing is almost never garaged, so that was that was something that caught my eye looking at it in the window here. Taylor Robinette on X says, "Why would Waymo partner with Uber and then give them a cut of the revenue when they have technology that is super expensive and not profitable? Have they already tapped the market that is willing to download a separate app for rideshare? I know user acquisition is hard, but it seems dot dot dot. Let's open it up in X. Oh, okay. Taylor is a subscriber of Twitter. That's why it did that, because it's over the minimum posts, maximum posts, I should say. I know user acquisition is hard, but it seems smarter to control the end-to-end experience with hardware plus software. Maybe it's the equivalent of marketing and advertising, and they'll leave Uber once they start to scale." And then they have this picture, but even on the PC, I couldn't tell. I bet you that's a link to a article because of the way that X works now. But let's finish the rest of his thread. Or her. There's two people in there. There's a man and a woman. I don't know if Taylor is a male or female. Taylor continues on and says, "If I didn't care about or didn't care about profit or margins yet, then I would just undercut Uber and Lyft on price and be the cheapest offering on the market. I frequently choose the cheapest option. I'm guessing many other people are similar. A better use of the 20 to 30% cut that Uber will take, in my opinion." That's also interesting right there. Like, can you negotiate a better deal since you don't have a human driver? Uber can keep the price a little higher, still make it lower than a human driver, and then maybe take a smaller cut for, you're not going to have the system's not going to be like getting mad at low fares. It's going to keep on going. That's not to say that the system isn't going to be smart and like work with the surge pricing and stuff, because it's a lot easier to do that when you've got more than one when you've got more than one vehicle stationed out around a city. So that'll be interesting to see what the actual cut for Uber is on this with them working with Waymo. Taylor continues on, debating this at dinner with Lauren Robinette. Her take is, so Taylor is a male. Her take is that the most people are still afraid of the autonomous vehicles, and this forces more people to have their first AV experience. She thinks it's a decent idea. Lee says, "Happy Sunday, out in the road." That's right. Bennett says, "Would you take the human drive add-on to your? Would you like the human drive add-on added to your order, local or remote?" I think that something like a future version of FSD, when it is licensed to run autonomously, based on what we've seen of what it can and can't do, I would be fine with a remote driver. Although this is going to be really stupid because they're going to be a remote driver, but they're going to have to drive into a Tesla facility because Elon doesn't believe in work from home to remote into my car. I would rather them be working from home with a certain minimum connection requirement, or even better, just have Tesla pay for an internet connection directly to their laptop that they can't use for personal use, and let them do it that way. That'd be fun. But yeah, I'd go for the remote option on mine. Taylor continues that their counter is that it's better for Waymo to own the customer than Uber, and they should be able to figure out how to acquire customers on their own. I agree with that part, but the wife, sister, girlfriend, well, it's the same last name, so Lauren was right that if somebody's not thinking about it, not in their mind at all, like, oh, those things are neat, and they keep on going, they're not thinking about taking a ride in one. This now forces you to make a decision and look at it, because if it's surging out there and you don't like the Uber pools, but here's an AV in your town for a little bit less, and you get the ride to yourself, why not give it a try? After you've tried it, you can decide whether you like it or not. But if you already weren't really interested in it, are you going to download a separate app and try it out? I mean, some of us nerds will, and if somebody hears how cheap it is, they will. But if you aren't hearing all these things, then it's not going to happen. So this is a good way to kind of force the issue. And if they run their cars the same way that Uber and Lyft drivers do, and I did when I was running it, they can run two apps at once. And so if the Waymo app picks it up first, it can be a cheaper price, or any number of things with the Waymo app going. I think that'd be kind of fun, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's see how many more we've got. It was a shorter week, even though I was actually actively working on getting you guys some stuff all week. All right, so the GM's Ultium sales plant in Tennessee is delayed until 2024. Delayed until 2024. Probably some stuff to do with their negotiations with the unions, but also it also now makes more sense with them delaying the trucks that are going to use the Ultium cells. If you can't put batteries in them, what are you going to say? All right, so the last story we've got for the week is Tesla Roddy. Their Rivian Adventure Network will begin billing customers in the coming weeks after having been free until this point. Have you had a chance to charge on one of these sites? Charge on one of these sites yet? So that's an interesting question right there, because when you look at how Tesla did it, it was supercharging, it was free for life forever, and then it was free for life for the owner of the car, and then it was gone. And I don't think Rivian ever made anything like that. They just weren't charging you, which is kind of cool. But now they're starting to charge you, so we'll see what that does for people picking their network, choosing them over superchargers. But the beauty of the way that the Rivian network is going is it's going to be more in line with where their customers are gonna be, because their whole concept was, what do you consider an adventure? Do you consider it to be going to random cities? Do you consider it to be hiking or off-roading or any number of things? So if they are set up for that, that's pretty cool. And as long as their prices are right, I think you'll be fine. Yep. So I want to thank all of you for putting up with me through these technical difficulties and challenges. The lessons learned now are, for this show, I need to do it with the laptop wherever possible. And obviously, the reason I didn't really think it would be a problem was because, if you remember back, we did do a couple shows from the road for What Drives Us and the Tesla Life show. But what happened was when somebody needed to share screen, somebody else on a computer was sharing screen. So that's a lesson learned, and I'll see what I can do with it. This was last minute, it wasn't planned, and we'll see how it goes. So once again, I want to thank all of you for putting up with me and the technical difficulties. I want to thank all of you for your time today. And for those of you channel members and sponsors, I want to thank you for continued support with helping to pay all these bills, like the streaming and the internet and all that. So I appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Oh, also, my little gimbal camera, they finally come up with a new version of it, and it's a little easier to use than the last one that came out. It's way better quality. It's 1-inch sensor instead of almost 1 inch. Great low light, and I found that I actually still prefer it over something like the GoPros. And I never could use the phone, because you saw, even when I was showing you the screen on the phone, it was always notifications popping in, and some of them make the thing vibrate, and a vibrating phone while video cameras in use just doesn't go. So in addition to me needing to finish up that Thanksgiving video from last year, about how to supercharge quicker, I'll start on that one first. Maybe you'll expect to see more videos because just like the old one, it's got a dedicated mic that goes straight into the camera, so I don't have to sync up the audio. But what's new this year is that it has 32-bit float, so I don't have to worry about if somebody comes blasting by with a motorcycle, or say I'm interviewing somebody and they're just whispering like really quietly. I should be able to both bring up the lows and bring down the highs without distortion. And I made it happen. That's what counts. That's right, Lee. Thank you very much. Yeah, I made it happen. And how do I like this camera? I like it a lot. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, whereas the last one was called the DJI Pocket 2 without the word Osmo. And the original one that we started the channel with, and the reason I used my tagline of catch you on the flip side is I would always rotate the camera at the end of the oh, they've got the screen flips out now. I would always end the show by saying, hey, let's catch you on the flip side, and I'd flip the camera around. And so I get to do that again without having to like manually flip it. So that's pretty cool. There we go. So anyway, I want to thank all of you, and I will catch you next week. For those of you that watch the Tesla Live show, we'll see you on Wednesday. And remember, what's today? Today is the 29th. So remember, the next show should be an hour later than typical. If you're in the U.S. and you do the time zone playing with the clock garbage, then it'll be the same time as ever for you. But if you play with your clocks or don't play with your clocks at a different time than we do, we're going to be an hour later than typical. So, catch you next week. Thank you very much.